Mulweni. Hello everybody. Welcome or welcome back to African Xhosa ASMR. So, today I felt like dropping some knowledge. Today's video is a bit different. I wanted to teach you about the African continent. I noticed that I always focus on the southern part of Africa. Let me just take it up a notch, maybe just a little bit, just move towards the northern part to look at the similarities and the differences. Hence, I will be comparing isiXhosa, isiZulu to iSwahili. I can't say E, to Swahili, which is on the upper part. And that's exactly what today's video is all about. I'll just be having a blast on learning Swahili and all that. So with all that being said, I think we should jump straight into the video. So I opened a tab. When I was looking for a language, I just wanted any Bantu language that is a Bantu language outside of, South Africa. And I wanted to focus on a different language. Both isiXhosa and isiZulu are Bantu languages of Southern Africa. And the only language at first that came into mind was Swahili, because Swahili is a Bantu language. Just a bit of background on Swahili. Swahili is also known by its local name of Kiswahili, and it is a Bantu language originally spoken by Swahili people who are found primarily in Tanzania, Kenya, and Mozambique along the East African coast and adjacent to the littoral islands along the east. I think this will be your east because this is my east and then the camera is flipped. So this is your east, but this is my east, okay? Not my west. So along the East African coast and adjacent littoral islands. That is basically what it is. And the article I will be using as a reference article for today's video is the Jambo Kilimanjaro article that is titled Language and Common Phrases in Tanzania. Love it, love it, love it. Now, let's get straight into it. For a bit of background, the official language in Tanzania is Swahili, also known as Kiswahili, which is spoken by over 90% of the population. And because I'm comparing it to South Africa, in South Africa, the most widely spoken language is isiZulu, and after isiZulu we then have isiXhosa. These two languages are popularly spoken by the majority of Black South Africans. English has official status. It is used in foreign trade, in diplomacy, in higher courts, and partly as classroom language in secondary school and higher education. And that is back to now Tanzania. And then Arabic is also widely spread, especially in the coastal region. So it is also an official language in Zanzibar. Now let's come back to comparing it to isiXhosa and isiZulu, or South Africa in general, besides Tanzania. So in South Africa, English is one of the official languages that is being spoken. English can be spoken by almost everybody in South Africa, because starting from grade R up until you complete your studies, you learn everything primarily in English. English is mandatory. English is compulsory to everybody. When you're in primary school, you take 3 languages. You take English, Afrikaans, and your home language. And that's if you are Black. So you have learned 3 languages: English, Afrikaans, and your home language. But because Afrikaans was a language of oppression and it is related to the Soweto uprising, some of the Black communities refuse to learn Afrikaans because it's related to oppression, you know. So other schools say, no, scratch that, you're not going to learn, we're not going to teach Afrikaans to our Black students because it's a language of oppression. So in those instances, the schools only provide English and your home language if you are a Black being. But if you're white or Afrikaans, you only just learn 2 languages. You learn English and Afrikaans. Afrikaans is aided as a 3rd language, primarily to Black, like South Africans, if my memory serves me correctly. In primary school, I learned English, Afrikaans, and my home language, which is isiXhosa. Every subject at school is taught in English except for your home language, which is then taught in your home language, and everything else is being taught in English. That's why the majority of South Africans are able to speak English. And when you're at school, school is basic education. You know, the basic education is free in South Africa. When you're in primary school, of course, and middle school up until high school, there is free education for you. So a lot of people come from previously disadvantaged backgrounds. They can afford school fees and so on and so forth. So the government made education free, unless you're going to a private school or a specific public school. But there are schools that are basically designed for people that are coming from previously disadvantaged backgrounds, where they can get free education. And so you basically learn English there as well. Hence, you can be able to speak English, but it depends on how, you know, efficient or fluent you are. Depends on how often you speak English or how you were taught English. A lot of people coming from disadvantaged backgrounds can't speak English fluently, and we sometimes speak broken English because we only speak English when you are doing oral presentations or when the teacher's asking you a question. And during break time and when you're at home, you never speak English again. So you do not train yourself to speak English, and when you do get to speak it, then it becomes broken because, like, oh, you know, it's stuck in the spot. But when someone is speaking English to you, you can understand, and then you can be able to answer them because English is compulsory to everybody in the country. So yeah, let me stop babbling and move on to the next statement. Now back in Tanzania, There are also more than 120 other languages and dialects which are usually spoken regionally. Most Tanzanians first learn their local tribal language. Later on, in elementary school, they learn Swahili and then English if they attend secondary school. Education in secondary schools and universities is usually English. Overall, English is therefore quite common in Tanzania, but is spoken in particular in larger cities and in tourist areas. That's what is quite different, because for us, English, you learn it from grade R up until you complete all your studies. So English is compulsory to everybody. That's where I would say it's different, and all that. And yeah, and English is definitely seen as a symbol of status. The more of English you speak fluently and articulately, and the less of your home language you speak fluently and articulately, the more you're seen as a person of higher status in society. And that's just sad, because people outside of Africa, I normally get like messages from people outside of Africa, like Black Americans, for example. They say, oh my goodness, I love your Xhosa videos. I would have absolutely loved to learn an African language. It looks like it's something I would have like really connected with. And it's so sad that for us, we are taking that for granted, and we are slowly but surely like pushing it away from us and putting like English or the Western culture on a pedestal and forgetting about our roots. And if you're speaking more of your language fluently and you're not fluent as, or at least as fluent in English, you're being seen down there, because you should be like fluent in English and know less about your home language, which is pretty sad. But outside of our country, outside of our continent, they believe otherwise. They absolutely love us when we embrace our culture. Outside of our country, people love us when we embrace our traditions, our customs, our languages. And I think that is something we should not take for granted. We should definitely embrace our culture. We should definitely embrace our languages. Now, let us come to the common words and phrases. If you would like to speak one word or two of Swahili on the spot, here's a small list of common words and phrases for you. The first one is hello. Hi. Hello. Hi. Hello. Hello. In Swahili, you say jambo, 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 jambo. Hello, jambo. In isiZulu, what do you say? Sawubona, 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 sawubona. And then in isiXhosa, molo, 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 molo. But these are all for when you're talking to one person. But if it's multiple people, it becomes molweni and sanibonani. A disclaimer, by the way, I did not watch a Swahili video before watching this, so that everything could be authentic and I could read those words as I'm seeing them, so that you can be able to correct me if you are Swahili speaking, and then after laughing at me like, that's not how you say it, and then you can be able to correct me. That way I could be able to learn live, because we learn through our mistakes, or at least I learn better by doing, so that I can be able to learn from what I did. It's easier for me to learn that way. So if there's a word that I do not pronounce how it should be or how it is, please, by all means, correct me in the comment section if you're Swahili speaking and you understand. Okay, now if you want to say goodbye, 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 Goodbye. Goodbye is kwaheri. 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 Goodbye. And in isiXhosa, usale kakuhle. Usale kakuhle. Usale kakuhle. And if you're talking to one person, but if you're talking to two or more people, you say nisale kakuhle. Nisale kakuhle. Nisale kakuhle. Singular, usale kakuhle. Plural, nisale kakuhle. And then in Swahili, kwaheri. 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 And then we have thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you is asante. 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 Thank you is asante. And in isiXhosa, thank you is enkosi. 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 But you can also say I'm thankful. And if you want to say I'm thankful, ndiyabulela. Ndiyabulela, which is another way of saying thank you, but it's more like I'm thankful. Ndiyabulela or enkosi in isiXhosa. And then in Swahili, asante. 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 And if you want to say thank you very, very much, thank you very, very much, asante sana. Asante sana. Asante sana. Asante sana. Thank you very much. And in isiXhosa, ndiyabulela kakhulu. Ndiyabulela kakhulu. Kakhulu, 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 a lot, a lot, a lot, too much. Ndiyabulela kakhulu, thank you very much, which means I'm so thankful, I'm beyond thankful, but we want to say thank you very much. Enkosi kakhulu, enkosi kakhulu, enkosi kakhulu. That is isiXhosa. And then after that we have there are no problems. There are no problems. There are no problems. Hakuna matata. Hakuna matata. Hakuna matata. It means no worries. If you've seen The Lion King, in isiXhosa, akukho ngxaki. Akukho ngxaki. Akukho ngxaki. It's no problem. Akukho ngxaki. Akukho ngxaki. Akukho kwangxaki. Akho kwangxaki. Akho ngxaki. Akho ngxaki. There's no problem. Akukho kwangxaki. There's absolutely no problem. Akukho ngxaki. Akukho kwangxaki. In Xhosa. And then in isiZulu, no problem. Akukho nkinga. Akukho nkinga. Angina nkinga. I don't have a problem. Akukho nkinga. That means there's no problem. Inkinga is a problem. In isiZulu, a problem. In isiXhosa, ingxaki. Matata in Swahili, meaning problem. And then after that, my name is Ninaitwa African Xhosa ASMR. Ninaitwa African Xhosa ASMR. My name is African Xhosa ASMR. In isiXhosa, igama lam ndingu African Xhosa ASMR. Igama lam ndingu African Xhosa ASMR. My name is African Xhosa ASMR. Igama lam ndingu African Xhosa ASMR. In both Xhosa and isiZulu. So after that, okay, let me just explain a minor thing, but you're gonna be like, oh, like it's just too minor. In isiXhosa, you say igama lam ndingu African Xhosa ASMR. But then in isiZulu, it's basically the same thing. You just add an I after lam. So igama lami ngu African Xhosa Xhosa, then that becomes Zulu, but just adding an I after lam, because my in Xhosa is lam, and then my in Zulu it's lami. Igama lami ngu African Xhosa ASMR, that's Zulu. Igama lam ngu African Xhosa ASMR, that's Xhosa. But in Xhosa you can also say igama lam ndi ngu, but add ndi before ngu, and then it becomes Xhosa. Igama lam ndi ngu African Xhosa ASMR, which is more like my name is. But if you were to directly translate it, you would say my name it's African Xhosa ASMR. But you can't say my name it's African Xhosa ASMR, because English wise that's incorrect. You have to say my name is, not my name it's. But in isiXhosa, the correct way of saying it is my name it's, which is igama lam ndi ngu, my name it's siviwe. But you can also say they are both correct. You can say my name it's and my name is in the Xhosa language. They are both correct. If you want to say my name it's igama lam ndi ngu, and then you mention your name. But the other way that's still correct, you can also say igama lam ngu, and then you remove the ndingu, and then just say ngu. So igama lam ngu African Xhosa ASMR, and then isiZulu igama lami ngu, and then African Xhosa ASMR, if that makes any sense. Now let's move on to the next one, because in Swahili you say ninaitwa African Xhosa ASMR, and then now when I say yes, how do you say yes? You say yes in Swahili by saying ndiyo, 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 yes. In Xhosa, ndiyo means something else. It means I'm about to. I'm about to. That's what yes. That's what ndiyo means. In ndiyo hlamba, I'm about to go take a shower. Ndiyo kya, I'm about to go out and eat, or ndiyo kwenza into ethile, I'm about to do this. That's what ndiyo means. In isiXhosa, yes is ewe, 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 yes. And in isiZulu, ewe, which is yes in Xhosa, becomes yebo, 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 yebo. Yebo meaning yes. And then we have no. No in Swahili is hapana, 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 or hapana, hapana, or hapana. Hapana in isiXhosa, which is no now, it becomes hi. But then this word is more like, and I'm not sure if it's hapana or hapana. It reminds me of a Xhosa word that people usually use. It's more like an expression per se. It's like hampa, hampa, hampa. So I'm from the Eastern Cape, right? Eastern Cape during the time of colonization was divided into two parts. We had the Transkei and we had the Ciskei. I am from the Transkei part of the Eastern Cape because I'm from Imampondoweni, the Ponderland. And then there's a Ciskei side of it. And the Ciskei part of it, there are certain terms that they use that the people from Transkei are not familiar with. We no longer use those terms anymore because they refer to as the terms of oppression, but people still do use them, but not really. So the people who are from the Ciskei part of the Eastern Cape when I got older, I then moved to the Ciskei part of the Eastern Cape, and I would hear people from the Ciskei side of the Eastern Cape saying, hampa, hampa, hampa. And I was like, what does that mean? Hampa, what does that even mean? It's like, no man, there's no way, no man, or no way. Now that I'm seeing this hapana, which means like no, it reminds me of that no way, or no, don't do that, which is more used in the Ciskei part of the Eastern Cape. In isiXhosa, like the in full Xhosa term, the word is hamba. Hamba means to go, like to go. And then now when you say hamba, it's more like get out of here, but it's a term that was made up. It's not an actual term. The actual term is hamba, which means like go away, which is an actual term. So they changed into hamba, that side, and I was not familiar with that. So yeah. And in where was I? What was I doing? And then we have no in isiZulu. No in isiZulu is cha, like the clock, but then you add an H. Don't say, just add an H after the C. Cha. That is no in isiZulu. And then after no, which is a hapana or hapana in Swahili, hai in Xhosa, cha in isiZulu, we have no thanks. No thanks is hapana asante or hapana asante. Hapana asante or hapana asante. And then in isiXhosa, hai enkosi. Hai enkosi, hai enkosi, hai meaning no, enkosi meaning thank you, and in isiZulu, cha ngiyabonga, cha ngiyabonga, cha meaning no, ngiyabonga meaning thank you, cha ngiyabonga, no thanks. In isiZulu, hapana asante in Swahili, hai enkosi ngiyabonga. Ayinkosi ndiyabulela esiXhoseni. And then after that we have slowly. Slowly is pole pole, pole pole, pole pole. I love that word, pole pole in Swahili, pole pole in Swahili. And in isiXhosa, you've heard me, if like you watch my videos all the time, you've heard me mentioning the word slowly all the time, because I want to slowly get you to sleep. But I always say that in isiXhosa, and I say kancinci means slowly. That's what kancinci is, slowly in isiXhosa. And then in isiZulu, kancinci, pole pole becomes kancane, 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 slowly but surely, kancane, kancane, slowly but surely, kancinci, kancinci nje, kancinci nje. And then after slowly we have freedom. Freedom is uhuru. Uhuru in Swahili. And then in isiXhosa, freedom is nkululeko. Freedom. Nkululeko, freedom. Nkululeko is freedom in both isiXhosa and in isiZulu. Nkululeko meaning freedom. And then after inkululeko, freedom, uhuru, we have how are you? How are you? How are you? How are you? Let's dance. Let's dance. Are you going to dance? Let's dance. That meme is just imprinted in my mind. I can't get Emma Stone out of my head saying, let's dance. Let's dance. Anyway, how are you? Habari gani? Habari gani? Habari gani? Habari gani? Habari gani? How are you? Habari gani? And in isiXhosa, unjani? 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 Both in isiXhosa and isiZulu, it is unjani? 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 How are you? And then after how are you, we then have I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine is mzuri, mzuri, mzuri in Swahili. Mzuri, mzuri, mzuri. I'm fine. But in isiXhosa, ndiyaphila, ndiyaphila. I'm fine. Ndiyaphila. And then in isiZulu, you just take the D and then you remove it with a G, and then it becomes ngiyaphila, ngiyaphila, ngiyaphila in isiZulu. But in an instance where you're like, I'm not fine, I'm not good at all, no good at all, you say sinzuri, 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 meaning not good, not good. Si nzuri, si meaning not, and then nzuri meaning good, not good. Si nzuri in Swahili. And in isiXhosa, if you're not good, andipilanga, 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 which means I'm not fine, andipilanga, which means I'm not okay, or I'm sick, or I'm not doing well health wise. These all mean I'm not andipilanga, means I'm not good, I'm not okay, I'm not healthy, or I'm sick. Andipilanga, andipilanga. And then in isiZulu, akukuhle, akukuhle, akukuhle. But you can still say that in isiXhosa, akukuhlanga, akukuhlanga. I would say that is more like I'm not good, not meaning all those different things. Akukuhlanga, akukuhlanga meaning it's not well, it's not good at all. Akukuhlanga, akukuhlanga, akukuhlanga in isiXhosa, and then akukuhle, akukuhle in isiZulu, meaning not good, not good at all. And then after that, I think this is where we should end the video. I think we should end the video here. I had compared isiZulu and isiXhosa to Swahili, and I don't speak Swahili in any way, shape or form, but if you would love to learn Swahili from an African ASMR artist who is from Kenya and is fluent in Swahili, I would definitely suggest checking out videos by African Whispers ASMR. I don't think he posts anymore, but he did post a lot of like Swahili related videos a long time ago. You can check out his videos, and that is African Whispers ASMR. But for me, African Xhosa ASMR, I think that is going to be it for today's video. From me, African Xhosa ASMR, I just want to say goodbye, 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 kwaheri, kwaheri. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Kwaheri, 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 goodbye. I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Love Swahili, by the way. Any Swahili speaking people in the house? Kwaheri, kwaheri. Asante sana. Goodbye.